The Ascent is one of those damn gorgeous games that has some issues with specific battles, bosses and difficulty spikes. Often, you can get stuck in a boss fight with no means to immediately leave the place to maybe farm a little bit more, get more levels, tackle the thing in a different way. What is up, you damn gorgeous and beautiful gamers? Welcome back to Role-Playing James. Before we move on, why don't you consider subscribing and liking video? Every like saves a junkie punk from the cyber world. RPJames Cyberpunk's healthcare institution needs you. Alright, that being said, let's get into the matter. There's a bunch of stuff that the game doesn't really tell you that well. We might actually bypass even if it tells us. Let's go through the basics before moving on to the more complicated stuff. The Ascent has two attack directions. One lower, one higher. Some enemies won't be affected by higher shots because they're too short. Also, be sure to use verticality of the game at your advantage. If you're downstairs and then crouch, enemies won't have any means of hitting you. Early in the game, where you still don't have any kind of build, be sure to be using cover and the left trigger to aim from behind cover. You'll be safe from in-front enemies, but the enemy can still flank you, so be aware of that as well. Be sure to often be checking the map and the minimap of the area while you explore. It'll show where you can find chests that often carry weapons, gear and weapon components. Use those to upgrade your weapons in the weaponsmith. There are 3 components tiers: basic, advanced and superior. It's actually quite hard to see where they are at first, but here's where you can find them in the inventory menu. Keep track of them here so you'll feel more comfortable about upgrading weapons. Also feel free to experiment weapons with basic components. Save the advanced and superior ones for weapons you already decided that you're mostly going to use. Which leads us to the next point. Try all of the weapons. Doesn't matter if you're high level and haven't upgraded them, they can still be quite efficient. They're very different from one to another. There is no such thing as a better or stronger weapon in the game. You like an iron? Take that and use it. Your weapon's going to be your girlfriend throughout the game. Be sure to try them all so that your experience is better. Don't miss out on the weapon that could have been your favorite piece. Which leads us to armor. Sucks to say, the armor progression works differently from weapons, which is a damn shame. You cannot upgrade armor and have that beautiful dress for the whole party. Armor is leveled here as you progress. You need to be changing it constantly to the one that provides the highest armor. So be sure to constantly be checking the armor vendor, as he's going to be restocking with new rarity levels of armor as you progress through the main story. Also, what is Cyberdeck for and how do I upgrade that thing? Cyberdeck allows you to do a whole bunch of hacking. There are chests and doors scattered throughout the world that you won't be able to open them because your Cyberdeck is low level. Cyberdeck upgrades that scatter around the world as well. Some of them are tied to the main quest. It'll be quite hard for you to miss them. Some others will be hidden around the world, so be sure to be properly exploring everywhere to get them. You can also hack turrets and aids in the game that'll help you in a bunch of hard battles, so every time you see a golden ring in the ground, be sure to use your hacking by holding Y. Now let's get to the juicy stuff. You can go through the entire game without using any kind of build, just shooting your way if you're skilled enough. However, it can be quite hard to accomplish that, so you need to make a build ASAP. I can't stress enough how a properly built build is going to carry you through the game like a piece of cake. I have a few builds published here in the channel. I'll try to be making more, but I'm also going to teach you how to properly make your own build like a pro. First, let's take a quick look at the stats. They are pretty self-explanatory really. Tactical Sense reduces your tactical slot cooldown. Critical hit rate, well, increases your critical hit rate. Weapon handling reduces reload speed and weapon swap. Aiming reduces bullet spread. Balance prevents debuffs and increases movement speed while using heavy weapons like a minigun for example. Evasion gives you more evasions before cooldown. Vital signs boost health, and body battery increases your energy. Then you need to select an augmentation that you like. That augmentation is going to be a scaling up of your attributes: motorics, cybernetics, biometrics, and frame. So to effectively make build, you need to use an augmentation that's being augmented by at least your main base stat points or attributes. Which means that, for example, to get the most out of your overclock augment, you need to have 20 points allocated in vital signs and 20 on body battery, which will sum up a total of 40 biometrics. Those 40 biometrics, that's where overclock is going to be scaling up. As you can see, with my character I have 48 points on motorics and 40 points on biometrics. That means that my build should be based on biometrics and motorics augments. This one that you see right here is for my cyber cosplay build. I use neural beam and overclock. The more attributes in your augmentation you have, the more damage and duration it's going to have as well. So let's say for example that I would like to use a frame augmentation with this build. It would be a complete waste because since I don't have any frame stats in this specific build, every single frame augment I would like to use would be quite shitty as hell, no matter how good people say it is. The augment I mean, because you need to properly build your character to be able to use that augmentation. That goes the same for the gear you'll be using. In the means of possible, use gear that some stats your base attributes. For this build I need gear that increases motorics and biometrics. If I use gear with cybernetics for this build, those points would be going to waste. Unfortunately, armor doesn't work like weapons, like I mentioned before, cannot be upgraded to increase its resistances, so you should be prioritizing the gear that gives you the more resistances first, and then skills later. Now you're set to go to terrorize the world of Bellis. Hope you find this guide useful, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you damn sexy, beautiful people. Don't you ever forget that each and every single one of you beautiful people watching RPJames are beautiful people. Stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll be seeing you guys later.